Hey everybody, Rob from Karma Comment Chameleon coming at you with a new malicious compliance story. Won't listen to my warnings? You're the boss. Let's jump right in. The day this video comes out, I'll be in the dentist office having 3 teeth pulled. Lame. So yeah, hit that subscribe button so that I have something to look forward to when I get back and see that wonderful spike in sub numbers. Back to our story. So this was years and years ago, back when I was working as a land surveyor. Basically, what we would do is go out with a laser gun on a tripod and shoot it at a bunch of mirrors on a stick, and because math, that would give us an extremely precise map of an area. My dad was the one who trained me in the trade, and because I have a very analytical mind, and this is basically geometry, the job, I had talent for it. Though, honestly, I wasn't all that fond of the job. Good at it, sure. Just not fond. So one day, with my dad's help, I get put on a survey team with a guy we'll be calling Jay. He was technically the crew chief, which meant he was technically in charge. Jay was a dyed-in-the-wool redneck. He listened to conservative radio, thus forcing me to do the same, drove a beat-up old pickup truck, lived in an apartment complex that somehow had a rusted-out car sitting in its front lawn, and had a stubborn streak Texas tall and fueled by his utter surety that he knew better than every damn person else. I never heard him say anything to confirm it, but if I had seen a Confederate flag on his truck, it would not have been out of place. Jay didn't like me. I loathed him. We would often meet up at 6 a.m. or even earlier to get equipment loaded and set out on a job. I'm not a morning person. I'm definitely a night owl. And while I'm always awake, alert, and on the ball while on site, the car ride out to the site would often lull me to sleep. Jay f***ing hated that. Every time I would, fighting to keep my eyes open while ignoring the constant drone of southern fried conservatism flooding out of the radio, start to doze off slightly, Jay started screaming his damn head off, telling me to wake the f*** up. If he had to be awake, I was sure as hell going to be awake too. 10 minutes of him ranting and he'd finally shut up, only to start over again when my head drooped an hour later. This is an example of Jay's attitude toward pretty much everything. He was right, I was wrong. Suggest differently, and he'd hem and haw until you just gave up. So on to the malicious compliance of this story. We were out on a massive job. We had to survey an entire strip mall complex. One of those deals that takes up an entire block to itself with lots of little alcoves and corners that made sight lines difficult. Lots of setting up, shooting a few points, setting a traverse point, then breaking it all down again to move to the next point. We knew already we were going to be at it all damn day, so we broke everything out and got to work. So as the crew chief, one of Jay's responsibilities was that he would plan our traverses. He would choose the vantage point he thought we could get the most relevant data recorded from, set the traverse, let me shoot it in, and then we would switch positions. I'd set up the instrument and data collector on the traverse. He would get a backsight from our old setup location so the instrument could orient itself and knew what direction it was facing, and then he would go around with the prism and I'd take the readings. About halfway through this massive job, I've just broken down the instrument and I'm heading to my next traverse when Jay stops me. Hey, you forgot to shoot in that archway. I should point this out for non-surveyors. You may have noticed that as a crew chief and prism man, Jay is the one who picks what to shoot in. So when he says, you forgot, what he means was, I forgot, but I want to shift the blame onto you anyway. Go back to that last point, we need to shoot that in. So off I go, back to where I had just come from. I set up the instrument and get on the walkies. Hey, Jay, I'm dialed in, just need a backsight. You were just there, you don't need a backsight, just shoot it in. I can't shoot it in without a backsight. If I don't get the orientation, the rest of the job could be pivoted. Jay has all the swagger, but I doubt he understood 3 whole words of what I had just said. He was crew chief on seniority, not an actual mind for the math. Basically, since I had broken it down, the instrument didn't know which direction it was facing, so it would pick a direction at random and just assume it was facing that way, which means any points we shot in, including all traverses we shot from that point forward, would be pivoted around that point a random and arbitrary angle. You f***ing shoot what I f***ing tell you to f***ing shoot. Take the shots. So I shrugged. Technically, he was in charge. He was the one who literally called the shots. He was the one responsible. So I took the shots and we carried on, with me knowing everything was being increasingly transposed as we carried on. Cut to the end of our day. We had finished up pretty early compared to when we thought we would be getting out. The way we did things is we would shoot the points, then upload them to our company's server through a desktop with a mobile modem. This was exclusively my job because Jay was a monkey. He wouldn't know a file repository server mapped to a network drive from his asshole. So we picked up all the equipment, get in the truck, and I start uploading our points file. Jay likes to take off from the job site immediately, even though he's supposed to wait for word from our techs confirming they got the points, but by a stroke of luck, he decided today he wanted to relax with a cigarette before we left. Usually, he'd smoke as we drove, but I guess he wanted to just chill. In any case, we're actually on the job site, not on the road, when he gets a call from home office. Answers the phone, expecting permission to f*** off for the day. Hello? Phone makes muffled muttering sounds. What points? Phone makes additional inaudible muttering. I don't understand. What's wrong with them? My ears perk. I know exactly what is wrong with the points. Through straining my hearing and knowing roughly what the tech is about to say, I can barely make out the following. Mutter mutter, control points, mutter mutter, over 400 yards. Now one might be wondering what control points are. Well, dear reader, I shall now edify thee with an explanation. You see, when surveying a large area, standard best practice is to do it in a large loop. You tell the data collector that point 001 is at position 1000, 1000, 0, and then collect the other points in relation to that arbitrary point. So when you circle around the area being surveyed, you collect the position of that same first point again as your last shot, so the techs know roughly what kind of error margin drifted in while you were traversing. And needless to say, when you're dealing with measurements with precision down to 1,000th of an inch, an error margin of 400 yards is completely unacceptable. Now what I could have done is ask Jay to let me talk to the tech, inform them that Jay refused to take a backside at one of the points, and tell them to take all points above point XXX, pivot them around point YYY by Z degrees, all numbers that I had memorized. That would have lined up the control points, compensated for the error completely, and we would have driven home, having done a good job. But I couldn't do that, could I? That would have indicated Jay was wrong, and Jay is never wrong. So I held my tongue and tried not to smirk. Jay refuses to believe our points are wrong. OP must have uploaded them wrong, f***ing idiot. Do it again and do it right this time. Of course it's my fault. It was always my fault in Jay's opinion. So I uploaded the points again, and the tech informed him that the points are still off. Jay seizes the laptop. 20 minutes of the monkey stabbing at the keyboard ensues, with him having to get the very patient tech to guide him step by step through the incredibly simple process of dragging and dropping the points file into his hole. And again, the tech informs him the points are wrong. He is incensed. So minutes later, we're piling out of the truck and grabbing all the equipment again so we can set back up on the point Jay f***ed up on, with a backsite this time, go figure, and reshoot every single point in the back half of the job we just completed. I didn't mind. I was being paid to watch Jay curse and fume and bitch me out, with us both knowing I was the one who had warned him about the issue. Of course, he keeps blaming me for the f***up, but I just take that as an occupational bonus. In the end, Jay got bawled out by the big boss for wasting company time and money. My dad told me his check got docked for the screw-up. Me? I got overtime. After all, Jay was the one responsible for the accuracy of the data. I was just the monkey pushing buttons on the instrument. I feel like I have the most basic understanding of how surveying works now. I always saw the guys standing with those yellow tripods and the funky looking machines on top of them, but never really understood what was going on. So thanks for that, OP, although I know that was the briefest of brief overviews. OP actually added on an edit at the end of the story. It says, "I don't care if you think I'm lying or not. I'm just here venting about my experiences with Jay. If you think it's fake because I don't perfectly remember every detail from 8 years ago, good for you. I believe this sub has a rule to the effect of keep it to yourself." I can't confirm whether or not Jay actually got his pay docked. As I said in the post, my dad is the one who told me he got docked, and it's possible he was just telling me that to make me feel better that Jay got his just desserts. If it's illegal, that's between Jay and the big boss. I just included it because it makes me smile to know Jay got reamed out for being a moron. I want to thank OP for giving me permission to narrate their story and post it up on YouTube. You can visit OP on Reddit at the links in the description below. Please go there and give them an upvote. Once again, this is Rob from Karma Comic Chameleon saying thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I ask you to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.